Welcome to the last in the current run of Mock the Week. Over the last few weeks, we've been busy celebrating our 100th show, creating Monsoon Poultry Hospital and noting my resemblance to a giant penis sausage. I think there's also some stuff about banks in the Eurozone in there as well. Tonight, we'll be taking a look back at some of those, as well as showing you our usual outtakes and things you won't have seen before. It's our semi-annual compilation clip show. Hope you enjoy it. Here's a picture from the Jubilee. What's going on here?
Is the Queen saying, so be it, young Skywalker, now die?
Is she saying, I can see you looking, Elton. It's my tiara, you could not borrow it.
Tom Jones looks like he's trying to hypnotise the Queen. Either that or he's being goosed by Paul McCartney. What's going on?
I think she's probably saying, oh dear, I seem to be at Madame Tussauds.
Is she saying, now you do all have the number for Dignitas, don't you?
Is she saying,
I've got major beef with you, Richard. I've got major beef with you, Richard.
Hang on, is she Peter Andre?
I'm trained. Don't compare me to the Queen. I've got major beef with you, Richard. You put the Lord's Prayer to Auld Lang Syne again, I'll cut your face.
it does look like it could be an advert. You look at McCartney and Tom Jones, it looks like a before and after for Just for Men, doesn't it?
Is the Queen saying, go on, pull my finger?
All the American acts bizarrely said happy birthday to her. Was that it was, you know?
Yeah.
Grace Jones, who had a hula hoop for the last 3 years, randomly walks out hula hooping, slave to the rhythm. That was the weirdest thing. I genuinely thought, am I the only one seeing this? Why? Slave to the rhythm.
It wasn't.
Who booked Grace Jones?
She wasn't hula hooping, she'd been imprisoned by the elders of Krypton.
No, you got to be very careful. I learned from Twitter, you got to be very careful. On the night of the concert, I had the temerity at one stage of going, because there was an Ireland football match on at the same time, and you know, Twitter's a global medium, and I was going, oh look, this is a score at the moment, like for loads of Irish people, and I had loads of people tweeting going, nobody cares. #Jubilee. Like I walked onto the stage and going, yeah, Rob, put a sock in it. It's 0-0. And I walked off.
Was it not a bit strange that they built that really elaborate, beautiful rowboat called, what's it called, the Gloriana?
Gloriana, my mate built that.
For the Queen, and yet... Was it just me and thought it's a bit weird that she's not on it? Because the only person who was on it was Claire Balding, as far as... Essentially, there's thousands of foreign tourists who think that Claire Balding is the Queen.
I saw the British Queen the other day. Looks like she can handle herself in a pub fight.
The answer is chickens, nurses and rain. What is the question?
Is it, what does Heston Blumenthal put in a trifle?
Is it name 3 things?
Is it, what are the most used sound effects in the radio drama Monsoon Poultry Hospital?
Monsoon for the chickens! Why are all the actors Scottish in Monsoon Poultry Hospital? Doctor, I think this chicken is drowning.
Is it all the things that my gran says are stealing her money when I go and visit her in the club?
OK, what's the correct answer?
Name 3 things you won't find in a chicken nugget.
Correct.
Is it what are the opening stage directions in the television drama Monsoon Poultry Hospital?
Chickens, nurses, rain, a man walks through the fog.
Well, this is the hospital I'm working in now, is it?
What was the name of Foghorn Leghorn's controversial early career porn film?
I'm sorry, I want to do more chicken hospital. Clear Bach! we've lost him. We've lost him. That's finishing off the chicken at the end of it.
Doctor, get me the beaster.
There's a graphic going around Twitter. There's a graphic showing how much Vodafone had evaded tax as opposed to how much Jimmy has evaded tax. There's a little visualisation showing how much tax...
Avoided.
Avoided, not avoided.
Yes.
Avoided, not evaded.
Oh, yeah, sorry, avoided. Let's do that again.
Because he'll be making his money back in a legal claim against Chris Hansen.
Good luck with that, pal.
I'm looking forward to Carr versus Addison, the case of the century. This is fantastic.
It'll mainly be this. Be the hissiest, most middle-class law case. Get off! It'll mainly be that. There was a graphic that went around showing how much... What is it? Avoided?
Avoid.
Okay, thanks.
Avoidance.
Okay, there was a graphic going around showing how much... I hope this is worth it.
It's been great so far.
It's been fantastic. There's absolutely nowhere this can go now. Oh, well.
Maybe you should have, like, evaded the joke, not avoided it.
I'd love to, but I wouldn't know which was which.
Sorry, just before you carry on, so evading is bad.
Is illegal.
Yeah.
Evasion is illegal.
And avoiding's all right.
Is legal, but potentially morally wrong. Yes.
So Darth Avoider was not as evil. Just to put it in a context that...
Yes, that you'll understand.
Is that helpful?
He was standing at the back. He was standing at the back of the scenes, Darth Avoider, going, I really don't think we have to blow up the whole planet. I mean, come on, guys.
Was he like a cuddly bear?
He was Darth Avoider. He was actually. I like the mod cons of the Death Star, but I just don't like the morality.
Anyway, was there a graphic going on Twitter?
There was a Was it about evasion or avoidance?
Avoision.
Yeah, it's avoision.
Is that what it has to be a person?
Yeah.
It's avoision.
Avoision.
There's a lot of avoision going on here.
Okay, I get.
Okay,
It's like lactose intolerance. It's a milk avoision.
Yeah.
It was.
Come on.
Blue Peter's got to come in a minute. There was a graphic going around that showed the amount of tax that Jimmy had avoided as opposed to the amount of tax that Vodafone had avoided. They've avoided 3,000 times more tax than him. This graphic going around, I was thinking, don't be giving him advice. 6 months from now, he'll have his own mobile phone company. Jimmy Carr Phone Warehouse. That's what it'll be. And that is the long road to end.
None of us can claim complete cleanliness in terms of tax avoidance, particularly if you're self-employed anyway, because there were schemes that were picked up, film investment schemes, for example, that a lot of people had put money into. I myself, and I feel we just have to say this, I'm part of a film investment scheme. I put all my savings into the big budget production of Monsoon Poultry Hospital. I think it's right. Well, you're involved as well. I mean, because I play the role of Morag the nurse. Monsoon Poultry Hospital. I think we're going to make a lot of money back. It's me and you are involved.
Alfred Hitchcock.
It's nice to know where the budget for this show goes.
I want to note, by the way, how well I look as a nurse. Surprisingly fitting. Big shoulders.
You've got a hint of the readers' wives about you. I'm delighted.
If you turned up at my bed in a hospital, I'd discharge myself.
Listen, I have no surprise, no doubt you'd discharge yourself. My favourite Olympic torch story, by the way, is this week. The Olympic torch was brought on the raft to the slalom course. What brilliant plan is this? Right, 1 second later, there's the Olympic torch. And it had to be brought and lit from the mother flame, which apparently is discreetly held in a miner's lamp. It's like a Zippo. And they're not bringing it back to Greece. And it had to be relit.
Olympic flame has to be lit, kindled by the rays of the sun, which is not our strong point. At the moment, I can't help feeling they should have just given us a special dispensation. So instead of a torch, everyone could have had a flannel. We could have had like a damp flannel, and you kind of wring yours out into the other person's flannel, and there you are.
What's weird about the Olympic torch days? It's having this incredibly exciting time. It's been on a zip wire in Newcastle. It's been sailing. It's been whitewater rafting. It's like it's got some sort of deal with the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
It's like it's as if it's sort of somebody's stag do or something, isn't it? Taking the Olympic torch, whitewater rafting. I'm amazed it wasn't left in the booth of a lap dancing club or something. I've got so many of my umbrellas.
The Olympic torch, they woke up, changed to a lamppost in Edinburgh.
They're missing a trick, aren't they, when it goes out? Because they just relight. It'd be so much better if they just turned to the guy and went, "Do you know what you've done? You've cancelled the Olympics." Someone set off the missile. We are ending this thing now.
Shut it down. Shut it down. It's all over. Shut it down.
The Olympic torch has proved very, very popular, hasn't it? Loads of people have been going out on the streets meeting the Olympic torch. And I think they think it is actually the sun. I think they've not seen it for a while. It's yellow and hot, and they're just there going, ah.
My favourite story during the week of the procession of the torch, and the endless procession of the torch, is Jill Mackinson-Sanders, who's the mayor of a town called Louth in Lincolnshire, who decided, as the torch was passing through her town, to dress up as one of the local products of the town of Louth of Lincolnshire. The town of Louth of Lincolnshire apparently is famous for its sausages. Here's how she tried to dress up to welcome the torch. She ran alongside the torch, ran alongside as a giant penis down the street, screaming, "It looks like you!" It does not look like me. There's nothing like my arms do not start above my chin.
I love that.
No, let's
the 100th programme and the first time we've been heckled by the audience. You look like a penis sausage.
Penis sausage. Do you want to do it? You probably can do some clever directorial thing just to disprove the fact that I look, can be done. Lucy, just to scotch the rumours that I look anything like a 6-foot-tall penis sausage.
Oh, look there.
Nothing like that.
Hold your cards up. Other way. Other hand.
Well, somebody's got a new Twitter avatar.
Our next round is called Newsreel. We play in a recent piece of footage featuring people in the news and ask Hugh to suggest what might be being said. This week's clip features David Cameron and William Hague.
Enjoying the Moscow weather, William? I don't understand. Why aren't we in a car? Well, we can't. There's one road in, one road out. After the pasty thing, we can't afford another U-turn. Never mind, it won't matter. Now, I am David Cameron, Prime Minister of Great Britain. This is William Hague, Phil Mitchell look-alike. We're here to meet Vladimir Putin and the other fella. Oh, yes, well, you say you are Prime Minister, yet you do not have a car. Yes, no, we haven't come in a car. Even the Greeks have a car, and their economy is shit. Well, no, please let us in. He is expecting us, so if you could show us to the gatehouse. So, this is the inside of the fearsome Kremlin. Can't see why it's so frightening. Perhaps people have never been to Barnsley. So, Vladimir, lovely to see you. Didn't recognise you with a shirt on. Not riding a horse.
Yes, come and meet the others. Hello, Hague. Hello, Natalia.
Yes, how do you do? I am David. I am the British. Hello, how do you do? I am David Cameron. I am the British. No, not one handshake. Well, never mind, David. You've only lost a bit of pride. At least you haven't mislaid your child again. Well, come to think of it, I wonder where she... Never mind, let's listen to what...
So, Comrade Cameron, your mission is complete. Now phase 2. You will travel to Washington. You will give Obama a present he is not expecting.
Oh, my God, he's gone completely mad. So, never mind, carry on as normal. Don't eat any sushi. So, right. Vladimir, we are very pleased to be here at this historic time for both our countries. We wish to foster trade links between our two great nations. Russia and Britain are uniquely matched in that you have lots of money, and we are quite happy for you not to pay any tax at all. So, could you translate that, please?
Yes, certainly. He says you are a criminal who rigged the election and you should rot in jail. No, I didn't say that. I was mistranslated. I was talking about trade links. Yes, he says you dress like a girl and you smell like a meerkat. Yes. Kill him.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Why was a Preston to London megabus stopped by the police on the motorway this week?
Just the usual reasons.
This was the story where a passenger reported seeing some smoke coming out of some other passenger's bag, thought it was a bomb, turned out it was a fake cigarette that was producing water vapour. Now, let's face it, if you've been pulled over, loads of police have arrived, you've got guns in your face, you're being accused of being a terrorist. That's not going to help you give up smoking, is it?
I'm always really freaked out by megabus. It's not the weirdest thing in the world, the megabus. Nothing against the bus service itself, but when you drive, like you drive a lot of time on the motorway, going to gigs, like the back of the megabus when you're driving along, like for those of you who haven't had the pleasure, there's times you just get hypnotised by that weird. There are many things I've observed. Firstly, why does that man have such large breasts? Hours staring at that man's breasts going, that is insane. What kind of...
Where can you go for £1?
I thought you'd have to contact Megabus. There's an address there.
I have to put plus a 50p booking fee as if people are going to go, well, that's a rip-off.
I walked in here with this in my hand, expecting to be transported to a faraway land. Then I find you want more money off you? Screw you, Megabus man. A big yellow man with enormous bazongas looks disappointed behind the counter. I apologise to the room. I know that when you're disappointed, you don't go, I am disappointed.
Well, Megabus represents the top of the list of the decadence of the West, is it?
Yeah. We will bring the West to its knees. Middle-aged women from the North will no longer be able to go to matinees at the West End. Students shall not visit their girlfriends in faraway towns.
You know what's really irritating about this for the entire... In my ear, constantly, people are going, wear the hat, wear the hat, wear the hat, wear the hat. Because, yeah, they gave me a yellow hat because they think I look like the Megabus guy.
That means that man looks like a penis sausage.
This is what they should call it penissausage.com. Oh, something else is already called.
You're just bringing this up to try and make everybody forget that you look like a penis sausage. That's exactly what's going on here. You just look like a penis sausage in a yellow hat.
Oh, no! I have lost ownership of the joke now.
Somebody's got another new Twitter avatar.
Am I a little bit shy?
In other news, yeah, that's that done now. Literally, that's all they needed me to say. Was there anything else you want me to do? Any other pickups?
There's no point in avoiding tax when earning it is that easy.
You know, they could have actually dropped that into the show anyway, except you're suddenly randomly drunk.
I don't need it. Yeah. I just like the taste.
Thank you very much.
Who are you talking to? Well, let's be honest, we've all been wondering.
And Rooney is in... And Rooney is in... Shut up!
Nice where the applause ended before you could sit down, so you have to sit down in complete silence. It was good, but it wasn't that good. You mean, so what's been happening in Euro 2012? You have to tell me something about how good it is.
I don't have to tell you fucking anything.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's the wrong category.
The RSPCA, they've told farmers that they need to move their cattle to higher ground.
When you said I couldn't get over the image of a farmer going, take me to higher ground. I didn't steal the cattle.
I wasn't expecting you to dance.
Excuse me, that's more of that, isn't it? Take me to higher
It's a strange time to be doing a language tape.
Well, I don't know, but he was very angry about his gas fire.
Is it in fact apparently 1 million Britons go to work on drugs?
Yes, they do.
1 in 30 apparently test positive for drugs, and in some firms as much as 1 in 7. You know, so if you're looking round this particular panel, I've got to be honest, my money's on Milton.
Yep.
Okay, the next topic is... Walk the fuck away.
Bloody peanut sausage!
In the 1980s in Manchester, we had this huge pigeon problem, and there were not huge pigeons. I mean, that would have been awful. But there are no pigeons.
I've lost my earpiece. Sorry.
Something's just come out of his penis.
Sorry. My penis sausage. I literally ejaculated my earpiece. Sausage penis head.
Yeah.
Take me to high. No, that's actually much more. One singular sensation. Now, obviously, when we're about to discuss this, I would ask you to temper your comments, your jokes, and your observations with the fact that Andy Murray, the runner-up in the British men's singles final, is actually out there in the audience at the moment. Big hello to Andy Murray, who's out there. Thank you very much, Andy. Specifically said, yeah, no fuss. No fuss. Just want to drop in at the back of the show, just enjoy the gig, you know, just like anyone else would. Not a big thing happening about the whole thing. So if you could just, all I'm saying is, it's a pleasure to have you here, Andy. Enjoy the show. We obviously, when you're talking about the final, keep it light. Keep it light. Okay. So there we go.
You've got some glasses down there. You could have a crack at that one.
I am not doing every face that we do in the show. Yes, they found the Higgs boson, Professor Higgs' projection. I'm not. I'm seriously not going to do this, right? I cannot look like everything that we discover in the show.
He looks like...
OK, here we go. The first subject is things you didn't hear at the Queen's Jubilee.
And look at that, a sea of red, white and blue as thousands of hyperactive children vomit up the icing from the Jubilee.
You can't help thinking that nationalism may have gone a little too far. The flotilla is now anchored off France, ready to invade Calais.
And we hear recently that the Queen's dogs have done a complete overhaul of the palace plumbing system. Mercifully, they're corgi registered.
Come in, number 46. Your time is up.
And now's our chance to join in lustily with the second verse of the national anthem. On to be served to... Ma, the Queen.
Yes, Doc. So if I say I've got a bladder infection, will it work? Oh, excellent. I can't stand Gabby Barlow.
Harry, when I told you to put on your uniform, I didn't mean that one.
And it's amazing to think, isn't it? She is 86 years old. Please give it up one more time. Annie Lennox.
And this is a real Jubilee mug. A man who's paid £25 for a Jubilee mug.
Awful scenes before the concert as a rather embarrassing fat man has jumped onto the stage. He's pulling faces and mouthing to Robbie Williams records. Oh.
And the Queen places the diamond in the stand, lighting the final Jubilee beacon. Now she enters the Crystal Dome and tries to collect as many golden coupons as she can.
And the boat spread out over the vast space of the Thames like thoughts in Fern Cotton's head.
There she is, Her Majesty the Queen. Where else could you see an 86-year-old standing for hours just waiting to be seen? Well, any NHS hospital.
OK. Our next topic is unlikely lines from a thriller.
What more evidence do you need that there is a mole? Look at the lawn.
Your wife's head in a box. You must be the most unlucky contestant ever on Deal or No Deal.
What colour wire do I have to cut? The lilac, the mauve, the salmon pink or the fuchsia?
I want to make you a vodka martini. You can't handle vermouth.
Is that a gun in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me? She purred. Yes, it is a gun in my pocket, and I've just shot my cock off.
I'm telling you, there will be no attack. This is a side picked by Roy Hodgson.
So, Mr. Bond, we meet... Ah! Flipping cat!
I'm telling you, Captain, I work best alone! Or sometimes in a team! Basically, I'm saying I'm flexible.
So, Mr. Bond, we meet at last. Why didn't we have a Skype?
I would like to gently lift your horse's foot. You can't handle the hoof!
I had human liver with fava beans and a nice Chianti. But the entertainment was excellent and he was a lovely host. So I'm going to give Hannibal 7 out of 10.
Here's Johnny! Do you mind? I'm trying to have a shit in it.
This prostitute isn't dead, said the Norwegian detective. She's just pining for the fjords.
And as his eyes gradually became accustomed to the shadowy darkness, he realised he was not alone in that room. Who is it?
It's me, Peter
OK, the point with Greg, Hugh and Chris. Right, so you have 4 different permutations for the ending.
Is your name still Dara O'Brien?
Just about. No, it's sausage penis face. I've been sausage penis face. Good night. welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen, and joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Andy Osho and Alan Cochrane, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Stuart Francis. We start with a round call. If this is the answer, what is the question? On the board are 6 categories. Andy, which category would you like?
Sport, please.
OK, your category is sport, and the answer is 11 days. What is the question?
Is it how many days has it taken Madame Tussauds to melt down their Pavarotti waxwork?
He's dead. This is a big opera crowd.
Is it how long did I have to spend by the hotel pool this summer before I saw a lady who wasn't reading 50 Shades of Grey?
Is it how much of the last month does Prince Harry remember?
Is it when are G4S's security staff going to turn up at the Olympic Park?
Is it who was at Darren Day's family reunion?
Is it what reaction time is definitely too slow for a fighter pilot?
Is it how long's just right for a holiday? Because 14 days is too long. If you go for 2 weeks, you spend the last 3 days going, it's too long, isn't it?
Is it how long I've had this pesky erection, ladies?
How long did it take before the Essex Lion got a vajazzle?
Is it, how long does it take to watch 12 series of 24? Because they're slightly shorter for the adverts, you see.
When you watch the show, is that why your holidays feel slightly too long?
Is it, in fact, according to his tax return, how many days' work did Jimmy Carr do last year?
Hey, Jimmy, we're all there for you.
How long should you cook a mammoth in a Category D oven?
Is it how long, now that he's not famous, it takes Craig David to woo a girl?
You then know the correct answer. Very straightforward.
Is it how long does the Paralympics last for?
Very good. Thank you very much. Good answer. Yes. The question I was looking for was how many days of sporting action are there in these record-breaking London Paralympic Games? The London Paralympics look set to be the most successful ever. TV viewing figures are in the millions, and events are selling out within minutes of new tickets being released. Have you been watching the Paralympics?
Yeah. Oh, it's brilliant, wasn't it? The opening ceremony, I loved that. Ian McKellen on stage. I did think it was a bit of a risk, though, booking Magneto when there were so many wheelchairs kicking around. I saw all those wheelchairs flying through the air. I thought he's up to his old tricks again. And then there was Stephen Hawking there as well, wasn't it? I wondered if it was actually Stephen Hawking or whether it was just Professor X in disguise and it was all going to kick off, you know, and Stratford would be reduced to what it looked like 7 years ago.
Was it just me, or was Hawking lip-syncing?
There is an issue of tone here. You've got to come with us some of the way and then let the Daily Mail decide.
People have got weird preconceptions about it. That's one of the most astonishing things, is that people are saying, this is incredible, this is really good sport. Of course it is. These are elite athletes. It's not a charity day out. It isn't a pat on the head for these people. These are highly competitive people. You think it's competitive in the field. You should see it in the athletes' village where they're fighting for the disabled car parking spaces. Isn't it?
What I found a bit confusing about the whole thing, though, I mean, I'm watching it and I'm loving it and I think it is fantastic, but I'm finding the classifications a bit confusing. Because until last weekend, for me, an F-42 was a fighter plane or a night bus to Brent Cross Shopping Centre.
Why do you go to a shopping centre at night?
The thing about the classification is it is confusing because there's so many different different levels, track, field, and all the rest of it, and they start from quite severe disabilities all the way up to the minor stuff. But I think they should give some able-bodied a chance by bolting on some like really mild stuff at the end, like a really forgetful gymnast just forgetting their entire routine and just doing a dozen forward rolls. Ta-da! Ta-da!
They don't do that enough, gymnasts, generally. Ta-da! You improve it so much because they always have to go... but they never go... Ta-da! They should.
I've been thinking about this. I quite like to see some cheating in the Paralympics. Because, you know, in the Olympics, cheating's kind of boring, isn't it? It's doping and stuff like that. But in the Paralympics, there's so much scope in cheating, you know, for, you know, really kind of wacky racist stuff. Things like boing, you know. I'd like to see somebody win by coming from behind with a chin that shoots out on a stick. Amazing.
You know, a wheelchair with a flywheel inside it, like, you know, like a wind-up car, and then so that one of the people suspiciously is backed into his starting thing, and then goes, oh, fuck! Shoots out. Yeah. Wait a minute. Of all the events that have been fantastic, and the wheelchair basketball has been, because this is a genuine, this is not in any way a mock-up, this is a sport that these are the best people in the world at, right? But it's properly brutal. If for no other reason you knock somebody over, the rest of the team just leaves. And there's a guy, and it's really like, he's gone, he's dead to us, leave him. He can back up again, he can join in again.
They do this, they just spring back up into their chair. I've never seen anybody do anything quite like it.
Well, very rarely do you see somebody in a wheelchair falling over and everyone going, no, leave him. To spring back up.
You say that, but I live in London.
My favourite event is the blind running. I love it. When they run with a guide, that is fantastic, isn't it? Because you're thinking, you know, obviously what happens is the people who can see, they have to tell the one who can't see, they have to tell them when to overtake and stuff like that. But you're thinking, what happens when the blind runner is full of running and the guide is knackered? You know, they're going, oh, no need to overtake just yet. No, we're doing fine. We're in the lead. Oh, I'm sorry, we can't sit.
Guides. Like I saw Libby Clegg, who's a visually impaired runner, and she runs with a black guy, but not all of them run with guides, so it feels like a little bit of an unfair advantage. She's basically being dragged around by Usain Bolt.
Somebody said that to me. Said, yeah, but they're being pulled by faster. It's not being pulled, though, are they? You don't see 8 blind people being dragged over the line. These strapping huge.
Where are we going?
Horse racing. That's clearly cheating because those jockeys have got massive horses underneath them.
My favourite bit of commentary was an interview, actually, in the proper Olympics. There was an interview with a guy called Ross Murray, I think. He was a British runner who not qualified for the semi-finals of the 1,500 metres. He was a protege of Steve Cram. He'd come like 6th or something in his race. And the guy said, well, what went wrong, Ross? And he went, well, I came from the north east. He said, well, I think it's to be honest, it was a lot harder for me out there than it was for the Ethiopians and the Kenyans because, you know, they've been hard at it for 4 years. And to be honest, I've been hard at it since January after 2 years on the lash.
I never watch any of the sports and think I could do that. I just find one of the few depressing aspects of the Olympics is just constantly watching sports and inevitably comparing yourself to the athletes. It's hopeless. Because I'm sitting at home watching Usain Bolt run 100 metres in under 10 seconds. My personal best at the 100 metres is 80 metres.
I think actually that depression of what they achieve is even worse for the Paralympics because they conquer so many different challenges and I watch it and it just brings me down because I think I once didn't go running because I had a sore finger.
Did you watch any of the canoeing? I love the canoeing. The reason I love the canoeing, my favourite bit of it was that there was a double kayak pair, British pair, called Florence and Hounslow. And I thought, that is the most unlikely town twinning in history.
We have the Uffizi Gallery. Yes, we have works by Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. And you?
Oh, we have a very large branch of Staples.
Yeah, and the points go to Chris, you and Stuart. Now we play a round called Oscar Pistophius. This game involves Stuart, Andy and Andy, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and whoever chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. The first subject is the police. Andy Parsons.
Police, you say?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought it was going to be bondage. So the police, often into bondage, aren't they? The police, they've done away with annual fitness tests. Apparently, the only people who are going to get fitness tests now are some of the specialist positions, marksmen and women, and dog handlers. And you're thinking, well, surely they're the only set of people who don't actually need to be fit. They never need to chase a suspect, do they? They can either shoot them or set the bloody dog on them. And also, the police, they've been keeping our DNA for 12 years. 12 years, right? Even when we've been innocent. And they were quoting some statistics from the Jill Dando Institute for Crime Science. Now, I have a few problems with the Jill Dando Institute for Crime Science, not least because they've yet to find the killer of Jill Dando. That, to me, would be like having the Lord Lucan Missing Persons Helpline.
Thank you very much, Andy Parsons. The next subject is dating. Who wants to come in that?
OK.
Andy Usher.
Yes. Well, I think that dating and technology do not go together. This is a true story. It was in the Metro, so it must be true. A brother and sister who were separated as children met each other again through a dating website. And they only found out 3 weeks into dating. And it was reported as a good news story as well, because the woman was like, oh my God, we've got so much in common. I'm thinking, yeah, like your DNA. Like, this is only a good news story if they found out before anything happened. Like, you don't want to find out like this. Like, oh my God, my brother had a mole on his dick. What did you say your surname was? There are some good things about technology and dating. There's this app, Grindr, that gay guys are using. For those of you who don't know, basically, it tells them how far they are from another available gay man. I was telling a friend this, and he was like, so it's like a tracker. It's not a tracker. Okay, you're not hunting gay men. It's not that. It's not that. And also, the guys have to be registered on the website. You know, you can't use your iPhone as a gaydar. You can't sort of just go up to someone and go... You are fabulous. But anyway, I downloaded Grindr onto my phone, and there were like, as soon as I fired it up, there were like 70 registered guys within 10 metres of me. It was amazing. Do you know what it was like? You know that scene in Aliens where they're surrounded by the aliens? They go, 10 metres. That's in the room. You can't be reading it right. I am reading it right. They're coming through the goddamn wall. I'm not saying shoot gay men. There's a film called Alien.
Thank you very much, Andy Usher. OK, that leaves us with Stuart. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is family.
I'm homesick. Does my wife think I'm a control freak? I haven't decided yet. She used to hate that joke. And now she loves it. The other night there at a party, my wife got drunk and told everyone she invented the Echo. I said, listen to yourself. I'm not thrilled that my wife's into bondage, but my hands are tied. Pretty woman. I call her Dollface because she's so pretty. And she's missing an eye. I think we were both on bumper cars when I first caught my wife's eye. Now, we actually met at a sushi restaurant, and last week we went back for old time's sake. Actually, I don't think it's pronounced that way.
Thank you very much, Stuart Francis. Points at the end of that round go Andy. Everybody sit back down. Now we play a round called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's happening. So, teams, why was this man in the news recently?
Oh, it's what's happened in Vegas, not staying in Vegas.
Yes, very much so, yeah. Why is that?
Because he was playing strip billiards and we all found out.
Yes.
It's hijinks, isn't it? It's just Harry. He takes after his dad, whoever that is.
Should they have printed the pictures?
It was a weird moment for newspapers when the Sun printed the picture saying, here's the picture you've all seen already. It's like the opposite of news, isn't it?
The Royals haven't actually complained after they've printed the picture, have they? Because I guess they're thinking, well, you know, if he's naked, at least he's not wearing a Nazi uniform.
I did think strip billiards sounded a bit...
Strip billiards, it's hard enough dating as it is, but if you're waiting for a girl who understands the rules of billiards, you're going to die alone, aren't you?
So billiards sounds so posh as well. It's like, were they done with playing Spin the Pauper?
People were saying, though, that he was a gentleman because in the photos he had his hands over the breasts of the woman. Yeah. And you're thinking, obviously, the definition of gentleman has changed a bit since I was born.
It's nonsense spinning it. Oh, he's just being a normal soldier.
He is.
Yeah, he's being a normal soldier. Like all those other soldiers with their $900 a night private bungalows in the grounds of a Las Vegas mansion. It's this bullshit that we get sold the whole time. Oh, he's just like us. They're just like us, the royal family. They're not. They're not just like us. You have never accidentally ended up in a part of your house you've never been in before. They are not like us.
The kitchen.
Apparently, though...
1970s joke.
The troops in Afghanistan, they've all come out in support, haven't they?
Yeah.
By taking photos of themselves, you know, stripped completely naked.
Yeah.
And it's basically carry on up the Khyber all over again, isn't it?
These photos are actually, they were taken before the Harry thing. This is just down to government cutbacks.
It says they're doing it in support of Harry. They're not, are they? They're taunting him. They're stripping naked in the Afghan sun going, try it over here, ginger lad. 2 minutes naked out there, he'd look like a baby bell.
Yes, there are websites of squaddies and squaddies' families who have supported Prince Harry. Decided to, you know, I'm not saying that I'm not much of a royalist, but it's not, you know, I still think there's an important principle here that, you know, if a man wants to be naked at a party, then we should support that as much as we can. That's why I published this particular photograph. Proud to do that.
Interesting that you got an All Blacks tattoo there.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah.
You now be no Mary.
I briefly played for the All Blacks before that photo was poorly doctored. You think my tattoos are bad? You should see Andy's tattoos. Andy's tattoos are terrible. I mean, he really has. Hugh, we're not saying that you're, you know, but I thought you were generous to do it amidst foliage, which I thought was disgraceful. The growing sense of inevitability, Chris must now realise that his is possibly the most erotic of all.
Again, that is real. Well, and that has confirmed many people's suspicions that if you see me naked, there is a pussy.
Whose famous face was recently given a makeover?
What? Is this the Jesus story?
This is the Jesus story.
This is like this Spanish woman who tried to restore this painting and just ruined it.
She did. Where was it? It was in.
It was in Spain.
It was in Spain. I'm trying to
Where
find
the Spanish ladies are.
Yes. And they do dance well. It was in Zaragoza. It was in the Sanctuary of Mercy Church in Zaragoza.
That's it. And the authorities were very cross with her. Because the only people who are allowed to touch up in a Catholic church are, of course, the priest.
Yes, it was a church, the Sanctuary of Mercy Church near Zaragoza, and there is a century-old...
You really brought Spain to life for us there.
You have to make an effort with foreign names. You can't just be Zeds and...
And you say Paris, do you?
Zaragoza. Zaragoza.
Wanker.
Zaragoza. So, anyway. Hola, ¿qué tal? Sí, bueno. See, the worst thing is I do the Spanish accent, it goes Mexican incredibly quickly. There was a fresco in a church in Zaragoza. This fresco was incredibly beautiful. They call it El Guapismo. Anyway, there was a fresco in a church in Zaragoza.
Where's the fresco?
It's in a church
in Zaragoza.
In a church in Zaragoza. In a church in Zaragoza.
Zaragoza.
How old was it?
It was a century. It was 100 years old.
A whole 100 years.
A whole 100 years old.
What a story this is. My Somebody has touched up a 100-year-old painting on a wall.
It was a very quiet week. Zaragoza is a very sleepy town. I think it's much more the case that it was decaying because of where it had been painted, right? And so this is how the fresco looked originally. This is actually a photograph taken some years ago. Now,
He was
this is the fresco. It's painted by Elias Garcia Martinez. I'm going for it.
Do it, man, do it.
Right. This is how it looked just recently because the plaster on which it was built had decayed, right? So this is how it looked now.
Okay.
So a nice old lady, a nice Zaragozan lady, went in and repainted it. And just paint up. And this is how it looked when she'd finished. She's done a great job of it.
The thing is, here's one I sent in earlier.
Like old lady, Zaragoza. I am sorry, people of Zaragoza, we cannot return your paintings. Thank you very much for sending them in to Mock the Week's gallery.
Your paintings because they're painted on a wall in a church.
She's actually made Jesus look like a Teletubby.
She also rounded him off as well. Like, she twisted it around into the whole thing.
She thought she'd done a really good job, though, because everyone that she showed it to went, Jesus Christ!
Completely fair. We don't actually know what Jesus looked like.
You didn't look like that.
Just assume that he looked like... Who knows?
I'll tell you what,
This might have been the bit from the Bible.
I'm Jesus.
I'll tell you what.
Blessing in the Bible where Jesus comes in after a botched face job. Last Supper, and everyone says, have you had any work done, Jesus? No.
My furry hat. My furry hat goes all the way around.
She's actually seeing the restorer next week, isn't she? Because she's got to tell the restorer exactly what materials she used to do that. And you're thinking all she's going to produce is half a potato.
The irony is she is probably older than the fucking fresco.
Okay, at the end of that round, the points go to Chris Hero Shorts. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. Okay, here we go. The first subject is rejected questions from this year's exams.
If sine A over A equals sine B over B equals sine C over C, what are the chances that you're ever going to use this in your sodding adult life?
According to Germany, how much is Greece worth? 1 mark.
Exam board of Zaragoza. Paint Jesus.
Jonathan is a Nigerian prince. What are your credit card details?
3 girls in this hall are pregnant. Who's the daddy?
Compare the following. A, the market. B, the meerkat.
Heat the crystals until they produce a vapour. Inhale. The exam seems easier now, doesn't it?
Without swearing, describe Peter Andre.
Mental arithmetic. Count up the voices in your head.
Using the paper provided, roll a joint and pass it round.
Does this look infected?
In the recent Olympics, Great Britain won 3 times as many gold medals as Australia. That's not a question, just a statement.
One Direction are incredibly popular. Explain.
Sport. How do you spell Akabusi? Is it A-K-B-U-C? Yes or no?
If Steve eats 2 apples, an orange and a banana, why is he such a fat fucker?
OK, next topic is things you didn't hear at the Olympics.
And that's yet another gold medal for Ireland.
One thing I grew tired of was the Canadian national anthem.
Well, there's Prince Harry in the crowd. I would recognise those buttocks anywhere.
Well, what an opening ceremony. James Bond, Harry Potter, Mary Poppins, showing the world that the greatest Britons are fictional.
Sweltering conditions here at the ladies' beach volleyball final, but still those 4 blokes in the front row haven't taken their coats off.
Ta-da!
And that's the starting pistol, and they're running. They finished. To be honest, I usually do the snooker.
Welcome to Greco-Roman wrestling, where a man from Greece and a man from Italy wrestle each other for the €1 coin they found on the floor.
Claire Balding there, but very slowly, and she's still got more than Colin Jackson.
And the long jumper from Sierra Leone there, raking the sand for landmines.
You've got to admit he's pretty fast for a white guy.
Well, let's look at the 400-metre hurdles. Those are very big hurdles.
And the winner is jumping up and down with delight, which will probably see them disqualified from the wheelchair marathon.
Well, it's the treble. It's the 3 he wanted. Usain Bolt has really enjoyed his night with the Swedish women's handball team.
And next up, it's the dressage, or as it's properly known, river dance for horses.
And now it's time for the clean and jerk, and clean again with an old sock.
OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Alan, Andy and Andy. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Stuart Francis. Commiseration to Andy Parsons, Andy Osho and Alan Cochrane. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Another chance to catch the Rob Brydon Show tonight on BBC Two with Jason Manford, Neil Morrissey and Ronan Keating at 11:20 after Newsnight next.
welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week, sitting in as a very late replacement for an unwell Andy Parsons. Get well, Andy. We have Josh Widdicombe. Josh, thank you very much. Also, Ed Byrne and Chris Ramsey, Chris Anderson, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. We start with a round call. If this is the answer, what is the question? On the board of 6 categories. Chris, which category would you like?
Sport, please.
OK, the category is sport. The answer is 736. What is the question?
Is it Tom Daly's bedtime?
On which page of your home insurance does it say that they never pay out for anything ever?
Is it how many hours in a row has Claire Balding now been awake for?
Is it the only item at his local takeaway that Eamon Holmes hasn't ordered? And that is spring water.
Yeah.
Is it how many people have seen Keith Lemon the movie?
Yeah.
Is it?
Generous.
Is it if you saw Pythagoras in concert, name one of the old numbers he might try and do?
Is it how many Cocoa Pops does Rain Man have for breakfast? 736 Cocoa Pops. 736 Cocoa Pops.
Is it the number of Americans aware of the Paralympics?
Is it what would Emil Heskey's squad number be at Barcelona?
Is it how many energy-saving light bulbs do you have to turn on before you can change an ordinary one?
Is it how many calories does the average man burn off while having a proper think about Jessica Ennis?
That's a new phrase, a proper think.
There's nothing worse than when you get caught by your parents having a proper think, is there?
I thought you were studying for your exams, and no, he was having a proper think.
It makes put a new complexion on, go to your room and think about what you've done.
It's going to bring towards the correct answer if you can.
When reading the letters page of the Daily Mail, what year does it feel like it is?
Is it the amount of athletes that took part in the parade this week?
Absolutely right. Thank you very, very much. Well done. Yes, the question I was looking for is how many Team GB athletes took part in the Olympic and Paralympic victory parade in London on Monday. According to the British Olympic Association, 736 athletes celebrated their record-breaking medal haul in front of over 1 million spectators. The victory parade was made up of 21 floats and featured a fly-past by the Red Arrows. Did you watch?
What else can the Red Arrows do if they don't fly past?
Presumably walk past in formation.
Everybody loves the Red Arrows, don't they? Everybody really loves the Red Arrows. You think how much better people would feel about our unwanted intervention in other countries if we bombed them using the Red Arrows.
I went to the Paralympics. It was very exciting. It was quite complicated. You get used to, because I didn't know anything about it. And the first race I watched was the because you know they had those grades, and so I watched the S6 swimming. And I was like, they said it, I was like, the Essex swimming? I mean, I know that's frowned upon to be from Essex, but that is not a disability. She's slightly slower because her vajazzle will hatch in the water.
It's the Quentin pool just looking like a weak gravy off all the false...
I thought Lord Coe's speech... incidentally, I find Lord Coe... I think he actually... It's ironic that it sounds less posh when you call him Lord Coe than when you call him Sebastian.
Is he downgraded?
But he did that. He really hammered home the Made in Britain thing in his speech. It was all very stirring. I think it's a stamp of quality. It's a mark that you can see stamped on something. We stamped on this Olympics, you know, London 2012, Made in Britain, which I thought was slightly ironic considering Wenlock and Mandeville toys were all made in China.
I wondered if they're like... I feel, the Olympics is over and we can all recover from it because we've got another 4 years, but I worry about Wenlock and Mandeville because that's it for them.
Do you think Mandeville and Wenlock are going to break into the stadium, like, over the next... just sit in the silence and go...
Special brew.
Here comes Wenlock! Yeah!
I think we were totally...
Furry tear.
People say they really enjoyed the Paralympics, but I didn't actually see a ghost.
That would be amazing. An Olympics in which the javelin appears to throw itself.
I was going to the Paralympics and I had one of those lanyards that you have to have because I was working there. And I went for a fry-up at lunchtime and I was sat there and the guy came over and he said, "Oh, what's that?" I said, "Oh, I'm going to the Paralympics in an hour." And he said, "Oh, what are you competing in?" A, clearly I'm not a Paralympian, and B, as if I'd go, well, I'll have a fry-up before I...
The most astonishing thing about this summer is the number of just the huge roll call of new heroes. Like, just watching Incredible Humans. David Rudisha's world record-breaking 800-metre run. That was astonishing. I just sat there watching him thinking, how does a human being learn to run 800 metres that quickly? And then you find out that he was trained by an Irish priest, and you think, yep, that would do it.
Some things don't get medals at all. I get very upset by the fact that in the show jumping and stuff, that horses don't get a medal. And in the dressage, they don't get a medal. And you look at the horse and you think, to be honest, I think the horse is doing most of the work. It's no wonder, and in the show jump, it's no wonder they knock all the fences over, because the horse is just thinking, well, what's in it for me? More even if I go clear, I won't get a single vote in Sports Personality of the Year.
It's also very difficult for them to text the number because they're big foot on the phone. It doesn't really...
It's very, very rare that they have horse voting. And generally, if they do have horse voting, the nays have it.
We're away.
That's the best joke I've heard.
Now we're starting.
You get into mad sports. There's things that I didn't really know. I didn't know about the steeplechase before, but that's now my favourite race on the track. Is you just go around the track and then eventually someone puts a big fence in your way, which you have to leap over into a pool of water, and then off you go. It's like the crazy golf of the track. They should completely embrace that. I think there should be a little bit further along, there should be a windmill that you have to run through. You have to avoid the sails clattering you. Big rotating Boris Johnson head halfway down the track.
Just the mouth opening and closing.
Going, pah, 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 pah. Spitting out athletes.
I love the open water swimming. I thought that was great, the open water swimming. But I did think it was one of the very few events that Rio are going to do better. There's a lot more stuff in the water there.
Did you actually watch the sailing at any stage?
I did. Yeah. It was the one that I just couldn't... I have no idea what's going on here.
Like, oh, he's in first. Oh, he's seventh. Oh, he's ninth. Oh, he's 14th. Oh, he's disqualified. No, he's back in. No, wait, he's won. He's gold. It's a silver. It's on the same row thing, like whatever. They randomly somebody... Just you'd be watching going, oh, there he goes, and another boat would just go across like that. Oh, somebody's lost now.
I was watching the Paralympic sailing and I thought it was quite boring until I realised I was actually watching a repeat of Three Men in a Boat.
I did think the broadcasting was generally excellent. I mean, at no point did I think that the BBC sent people along to events whose knowledge of the sport or whose ability to communicate that knowledge was ever in doubt. It was just top quality the entire way through.
Look at the reaction of the Irish fans in attendance here at the ExCeL Arena and what that signifies.
There's a rocket there. I can't call this. This is too tight.
Were you actually sent there by the BBC, or do you two just carry a microphone around with you the whole time?
He asked me. I had no idea that we were going to be handed microphones and have cameras pointed at us. He said to me, do you want to go and see the boxing? And I went, yeah, sure, I'll go along. I don't know anything about sport. And then there's cameras on us. And then he interviewed, and actually on TV, he goes to me, so have you been following the boxing? No, I haven't been following the boxing.
So then the thing is had the best chance of winning at Irish gold
thingy.
was boxing.
Women's boxing.
We've
That's
four
so
boxing medals.
stereotypical, isn't it?
Well, I'm sorry for
That's
living
amazing.
up to it.
What did you
They're going, this is a disgraceful representation of Ireland.
What did you get for drive tarmacking? Sorry.
Well done on your medal for not wearing a coat on a night out. At the end of that round, the points go to Chris, Ed and Josh. Now we play a round called Daralympics. This game involved Josh, Milton and Chris, so if you could make your way over to the performance area, please. This round is our stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers will step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. Okay, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is holidays. Who wants to come in on that? Josh.
Not very good holidays, as it turns out. I bought a tent to go camping recently. I don't know if I've not done this before. I bought a 2-room tent. And then you get it home, and it turns out the 2 rooms they give you from your house are the bedroom and the porch. I'll show you, if I was going to take 2 rooms from my house on holiday with me, very low on the list would be the porch. I would choose the bedroom and the bathroom. So not camping. Never have I woken up at 4 a.m. and thought, I need to get to a porch. If I don't get to a porch, there is going to be an accident. If there was no porch on your tent, you wouldn't have an issue. You wouldn't get your tent out and go, oh, my God, no porch. Well, where am I going to put my hat stand? I've got yellow pages and 84 pieces of junk mail. I need a porch on these things. I never went on good holidays when I was a child. My dad was one of those people that was afraid of flying. He'd go, it's not natural, is it? Because if we were going to fly, we'd have wings. It's for birds, it's not for humans. But that's a terrible argument, isn't it? Because that's what technology is for. Helping you do things you couldn't do otherwise. If you give him a bottle of wine, he doesn't go, well, I'm not opening that because I don't have a curly finger.
Thank you very much, Josh. Well done. OK, let's have the next subject, please. The next subject is communication. Who wants to come in on that? Chris.
Hello. Communication now, these days, it's the more technologically advanced a form of communication, the more pointless and useless the subject matter is. For example, things like Twitter. You would never... It's not real communication. You would never tweet someone to inform them of a death in the family. It'd be slightly, you know what I mean, a bit harsh. Dad's dead, #fail. At the same time, you wouldn't show up at someone's house unannounced in person to tell them you just had a nice sandwich. All right, mate, it's 11 at night. What's up? Just had a blinded toastie. I'll see you at work. What? I mean, the most pointless form of communication these days is it has to be YouTube comments. Wow. Just take a couple of hours out of your life, sit down and have a look through some YouTube comments. It's like scrolling through the mind of a psychopath. It's incredible, and I've got a game you can have to send them loopy, right? Go onto YouTube, find a video. It has to be unremarkable. It can't be anything amazing. It can't be a near-death experience. It has to be banal, boring and mundane, like a video of a cat yawning. You're laughing, there's loads of them on there. People are insane, right? Video of a cat yawning, go on, underneath, sign in to YouTube, comment one word. Fake. People lose their minds. How can it be fake? Cat yawn! Cat yawn! She was tired!
Thank you very, very much, sir. So that'll leave us with Milton. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. The subject is family.
All my family are black and white. I phoned my dad the other day. He said, you left the room before I finished speaking. I wanted you to go to Holland and Barrett and get me some tablets. Where are you now? I said, Holland. I always left the room before my dad finished speaking. I remember once he said, why don't you go outside and jump up and down on the trampoline? Except I didn't hear the Aline. My grandfather, he eventually achieved his lifelong ambition to be a lion whisperer. Just before he died. Hashtag fail. My mother, she's got to the stage now where all she does is go on about who's just died.
Do you remember Muriel? She's just died. Do you remember Arthur? He's just died.
I said, Mum, get off the roof and give me the gun.
Thank you very much. Well done. Poison out. Go to Milton Jones. Come on back. Our next round is called Headliners. Here's a picture of the Mayor of London with the Prime Minister. But what does BACC stand for?
Is it a before and after cosmetics commercial?
Is it they're pointing at each other and just saying, basically, a complete cock?
Is it boring airport conversation continues?
Boris saying, our education policy is as easy as BAC.
Is it Boris just greeting Cameron in his normal way by going, bountiful acclamations, Cameronius Caesar?
Is it Boris describing his life and he's just saying birds and cycling, cracking?
I think it's banging all the Conservative chicks.
Is it the start of an alphabetical list of people who've benefited most from the Olympics? Boris and Coca-Cola.
Cameron taken one look at Boris and said, you know, barbers accept credit cards.
OK, we move towards the correct answer, if we can, please.
Is it Boris and Cameron collide?
Actually, is it? No,
Clash?
it's not. Sorry, Josh, what was that answer?
Chris,
Chris, sorry, Josh. I'm sick, fuck off. How quickly do people boo you? Jesus.
If he's sick, he has the decency to not show up.
Sorry.
Let's do it again.
Sorry, Chris, yeah.
Is it Boris and Cameron clash?
Very good, well done, Chris. Very good. Yes. The answer I was looking for was Boris and Cameron clash. This is news that Boris Johnson has declared war on David Cameron over Heathrow Airport's potential expansion. Johnson, who is against a third runway, labelled Cameron's indecision a fudgerama and simply mad in a row that overshadowed the Prime Minister's first full-scale ministerial reshuffle. What would Johnson rather see than a third runway?
I don't know, but I know that Fudgerama was a game they were forced to play at public school.
That involved a third runway as well, though.
He wants an airport. He wants another airport in the Thames Estuary, doesn't
he? Yes, he does.
On a thing which has been called Boris Island.
Yes.
Which is just fantastic, isn't it?
Boris Island sounds like a Jurassic Park. There's something that's, you know, to be quiet. The Borises will hear you rustling. Like somebody's found the DNA of a long-dead 17th century baron in some amber and spliced it with a polar bear and brought these horrific creatures back.
A piece of rope with no goat on the end of it. The large Borises have escaped. They hunt in packs.
I didn't realise Heathrow only had 2 runways.
Yeah.
It's got 4 terminals. I presumed it would have loads of runways.
It's got 5 terminals.
It's got 10 Wagamamas.
Yeah. It's more of a Japanese restaurant than an airport.
The Wagamama to runway ratio is out of whack. More out of whack for Heathrow than any international airport.
The first I read of it, there was a headline that said, Cameron plans U-turn on Heathrow runway. That isn't health and safety.
Zach Goldsmith said that he'll resign as an MP if they go ahead with the third runway. And I thought, what will he do for money?
That's the thing with Zach Goldsmith. He's anti-Heathrow, and he doesn't really seem committed to a career in politics. Because either way, he's just not in it for the long haul. Thank you.
I see. I've never heard that. That's amazing. That was like a cattle market.
How did Cameron do his reshuffle this week?
He sat down and had a proper think about it.
They had a thing about when Cameron did they had one of those things, they picked a word, because Cameron apparently, when he did the reshuffle, he was, I don't know which the minister he was dealing with, but apparently he was drinking a glass of wine at the time, which became swilling. He was swilling wine. I'm not sure what exactly, that's like a trough. They go, blah, 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 blah. You're fired!
But yeah, because they were trying to imply that he enjoyed it, and he was denying it, but he clearly had a semi on.
Very good. That is a very good wine joke.
Except that's a white grape.
Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It was a strange reshuffle, in terms of the people he chose. I mean, he chose a health minister who believes in homeopathy, and a transport manager who's afraid of flying.
Yeah.
And you might as well have gone, we need somebody for fisheries. Who's here from the Midlands?
More possibly a Chancellor of the Exchequer who knows nothing about economics. Oh, hang on.
It just makes you think that when it comes to the cabinet, you'd rather be in opposition. Because when you think about it, which would you rather be? A member of the cabinet or a member of the shadow cabinet? Shadow cabinet sounds like the puppet masters.
The cabinet think they run the country, but really the shadow cabinet.
I don't think we should use the term shadow cabinet because it makes it sound a lot cooler than what it is, which is a bunch of grown men pretending to have a job they don't have.
I owe you a thanks, by the way, because you bought me a present recently from your holidays, which
have you brought it in?
I have. So it was really, really sweet. Ed was in France on his holidays and bought me a present of a thermometer. You know when you get a present, you go, oh, thanks, yes, great, and I really appreciate that thermometer you bought me. And genuinely, for 2 weeks, I had no idea why Ed had bought me a thermometer. But apparently it has a vague kind of resemblance. They'd even give me a hat to do this. But wait, no. Wait. Oh, here we go. There we go.
Look at it.
That's it. Yeah, okay. Give that round of applause to Chris, Ed and Josh. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. Okay, here we go. The first subject is unlikely complaints to TV channels.
Dear Jim will fix it. Why aren't you replying to me letters?
Dear Living TV, stop breathing on me, you're freaking me out.
BBC, I find it extremely offensive that after each scene we'd like to see, the host, Dara O'Brien, appears to emit a loud fart.
Dear BBC, why have you given Andy Parsons that ridiculous wig this week?
BBC, I recently saw something on the Antiques Roadshow I would like to purchase. How much is Fiona Bruce?
Dear Dragon's Den, I have lost my keys, and for that reason, I'm out.
Dear ITV, I just watched Loose Women in High Definition. Please remove this option.
Dear Babe Station, sorry for the scrawl, I'm having to write this with my left hand.
Dear Babe Station, I I've watched your channel for 10 hours now, and I've yet to see a film about a pig working as a sheepdog. However, I shall persevere.
Dear Channel 5, I have watched Celebrity Big Brother. I think it should be renamed Big Brother.
Dear BBC, why don't you get Irish comedian Ed Byrne to do a documentary about ladies' pants?
Dear Dave, have you seen Phil? Yours, Bob.
Dear Embarrassing Bodies, I'm a man trapped inside a woman's body. I got mixed up between super glue and lube.
Dear Dave Jarvu, have you seen Phil Jarvu? Yours, Bob Jarvu.
Dear BBC, where can I get one of those blurred number plates you always see on television?
Dear Embarrassing Bodies, I think there may be something wrong with my penis. I've enclosed it in an envelope for you to have a
Dear BBC, why have you changed the name of Snog, Marry, Avoid to 3 Men in a Boat?
Okay, the next topic is things you wouldn't hear in a survival show.
Not all of us survived last night's tropical fruit juice storm. 5 alive.
At last, I have found some nuts and some berries. I hate it when they rearrange the aisles at Asda.
We dropped Piers Morgan and Jeremy Clarkson into a remote area of the Amazon rainforest with no supplies and no means of contacting the outside world. You're welcome.
There are many threats to the children of the Nabutu tribe. Crocodiles, snakes, Madonna.
Unfortunately, you do have to improvise some things. I've been using these leaves for wiping my bottom, which is why I've been thrown out of the salad bar.
And to make this wigwam, I just used 3 poles. Because, well, they're good workers and they're cheap.
It's a terrible moment when your fellow mountaineer turns to you and says he's got his arm stuck in a crevasse and you're going to have to cut it off. And then when he comes round, he says, "No, not that one."
Everyone in this gorilla's family has a role. Unfortunately, I'm his love bitch.
If you're really lost, it's time to use your Duke of Edinburgh skills. Hopefully, you can offend the indigenous tribespeople enough that they'll chase you out of the forest.
So then I'm going to show you how to make a snare, just in case, God forbid, you ever have to improvise a jazz-style drum solo.
Perhaps the most rewarding thing about looking at the women of the Nabutu tribe is they have their tits out.
Yesterday, I punctured my inflatable, which is terrible. There isn't a sex shop for miles.
So I'm at home and there's an 8-foot anaconda snake coming through the letterbox. I think it's some kind of Amazon mix-up.
Tonight on Bushcraft, the Vajazzle.
Okay, getting that round before we go to Christy and Milton. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Josh Widdicombe, Ed Byrne and Chris Ramsey. Commiserations to Chris Harrison, Hugh Grant and Milton Jones. Thanks for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.
Stephen Fry's making us smile tomorrow at 10. Hugh Eye's back for a jamboree with the letter J with Jimmy Carr. And with Rob Brydon tonight on BBC Two, Tom Jones, Amelia Fox and Steve Backshaw at 11:20 after Newsnight.
Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Josh Widdicombe and Miles Jupp, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. We start with a round called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board of 6 categories. Josh, which category would you like?
Can I go with sport?
OK, your category is sport. The answer is 74 years. What's the question?
What is the official age at which you can be racist and get away with it?
How much back tax does Jimmy Carr owe?
Is it when will it stop raining?
Is it the traditional amount of time between a person's first meal at a harvester
Is it how long would it take Victoria Beckham to eat a Cornish pasty?
Is it how long a minute feels in the company of Louis Spence?
What would it sound like if Prince Charles was agreeing with the answer 74?
74 years. In fact, how long will Katie Holmes have to look over her shoulder?
Is it how long after eating mackerel is it safe to burp again?
What is the average age of the person buying Beyoncé's new track, All the Shingle Ladies?
Is it if you come out of a toilet at a music festival, how long do you suggest to the person who's going in that they should leave it?
Is it what is the distance of my exclusion order from Doctor Who's assistant?
Is it when did the last British man enter a final at Wimbledon?
Yes.
In the singles.
In the singles. Very good. Thank you very much, Andy Parsons. Yes, the question I was looking for was, before Andy Murray, how long had it been since a British man reached a Wimbledon singles final? This is news that Andy Murray was the first to achieve this feat since Bunny Austin was runner-up in 1938. Now, obviously, when we're about to discuss this, I would ask you to temper your comments, your jokes and your observations with the fact that Andy Murray, the runner-up in the British men's singles final, is actually out there in the audience at the moment. Big hello to Andy Murray, who's happy out there. Thank you very much, Andy. Specifically said, yeah, no fuss. No fuss. Just want to drop in the back of the show, just enjoy the gig, you know, just like anyone else would. Yeah, not a big thing happening about the whole thing.
That must be...
So, if you could just... all I'm saying is, it's a pleasure to have you here, Andy. Enjoy the show. We obviously, when you're talking about the final, keep it light. Keep it light.
Okay.
Don't want to, you know...
Why don't we talk about Bunny Austin?
My grandfather used to drive a Bunny Austin.
Were you watching it? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
It was very, very emotional. I was crying, and I didn't really know why I was crying, just everybody with me was crying. It was like we've been watching Terms of Endearment. The top 3 tearjerkers of all time, Terms of Endearment, Philadelphia, and Andy Murray trying to congratulate Roger Federer without calling him a bastard.
it was very emotional, but what I loved most of all was Ivan Lendl. He's a man who's, you know, he wears his heart on his sleeve, doesn't he? He runs the full gamut of emotion. He goes, here's Ivan. Ivan is sad. Ivan is happy. Ivan is excited.
I also like the fact that even, it doesn't, like, Grandma's face, nothing changed. Because there is a tendency to presume that, like, the more natural one would be, like, Gok Wan or something. Just standing and going, you go! You were looking great down there.
What do you think? I'm not having a go, Andy, but I shouldn't start like that.
Wow, you feel the mood in the room change there.
But Ivan Lendl, I understand, is famous for being the best player never to have won Wimbledon. So, as an appointment to try and win Wimbledon, that's like going, I'm trying to catch a roadrunner. I'm going to ask Wile E. Coyote for some suggestions.
Ivan Lendl was never foiled by, like, an anvil falling on him.
And if he had been hit on the head by an anvil, he would have looked like this.
If I won Wimbledon, the first thing I'd do is sort the one-way system out.
But I think it's all right to be like that. This is something that Andy Murray comes in. A huge criticism about Andy Murray is he's sullen and uncommunicative in post-match interviews. You'd be sullen and uncommunicative if after work every day you had to pass somebody with a camera and a microphone going, amazing bit of photocopying in the middle of the day there. What was going through your mind there? They're lucky, those reporters, that they don't finish the reports. This is Tim Frank from Wimbledon A&E with a tennis racket up my arse.
My favourite people that I saw in the crowd were the 4 Andy Murray supporters who had M, U, R and Y on their shirts. There's 4 of them. Why on earth did they go for the surname and not the first name?
I think that the problem really is the fact that, you know, British players aren't used to those facilities. If those courts were turned into cracked black tarmac with weeds growing out of them, honestly, we would win a lot more tournaments. If that didn't work, you just make sure that every 4th ball is flat. That's all. That's what people do.
The rallies would last longer if the net's all dipped by about 6 inches.
A middle-class couple at the side going, I think you'll find we're on in 5 minutes.
Just give them 5 balls, and wherever they hit them, they've got to go and get them themselves.
Every so often the ball boys picked up the wrong tube and you get Pringles.
The bit I like in the tennis is when they throw the ball into the crowd, and at the end of the football they throw their shirt into the crowd. Anyway, I'm off the pub darts team.
Andy was unlucky, though, was it? They closed the roof. And it wasn't actually raining, it's just that Sir Cliff Richard was in and they didn't want to take any chances.
Which unlikely British player did win a title at Wimbledon this year?
Tim Henman.
No.
Bunny Austin.
No.
Vanessa Feltz.
This was a guy, wasn't it, called Murray.
Yes.
Which is kind of interesting because it's only 1 letter away from Murray, and that, you know, and that got me worried that maybe it's a vowel thing, and Andy's in a queue, and he's not going to win until Mr. Mary, Miri, and Murray have all had their.
Jonathan Murray, one of those 2 men there, is...
The one on the far left, I think. In the suit.
On the right.
the one applauding with the in the suit. Won the doubles with his Danish partner, Fredrik Nielsen.
So, do you win 2 trophies and a midget butler?
Other news, why was a Preston to London megabus stopped by the police on the motorway this week?
Just the usual reasons.
Yeah.
This was the story where a passenger reported seeing some smoke coming out of some other passenger's bag, thought it was a bomb, turned out it was a fake cigarette that was producing water vapour. Now, let's face it, if you've been pulled over, loads of police have arrived, you've got guns in your face, you're being accused of being a terrorist. That's not going to help you give up smoking, is it?
They shut the M6, 17 police cars and riot vans, 13 fire engines, 4 ambulances and an army bomb disposal truck attended the incident. They walked the people off with their heads in their hands. It was like, you know, and made them sit in the middle of the road.
Those people on the megabus, that's not the first bad trip they've been on.
When they were sat on the side of the road, you could see some of them going, this is the most luxurious part of the journey so far.
I'm always really freaked out by megabus. It's not the weirdest thing in the world, the megabus. Nothing against the bus service itself, but when you drive, like you drive a lot of time on the motorway, going to gigs, like the back of the megabus when you're driving along, like for those of you who haven't had the pleasure, there's times you just get hypnotised by that weird. There are many things I've observed. Firstly, why does that man have such large breasts? Hours staring at that man's breasts going, that is insane. What kind of...
Where can you go for £1?
I thought you'd have to contact Megabus. There's an address
I
there.
I'd have to put plus a 50p booking fee as if people are going to go, well, that's a rip-off.
I walked in here with this in my hand, expecting to be transported to a faraway land. Then I find you want more money off you? Screw you, Megabus man. What a big yellow man with enormous bazongas looks disappointed behind the counter. That is going to do it. I apologise. I know that when you're disappointed, you don't go, I am disappointed.
Well, Megabus represents the top of the list of the decadence of the West, is it?
Yeah. We will bring the West to its knees. Middle-aged women from the North will no longer be able to go to matinees at the West End. Students shall not visit their girlfriends in faraway towns.
Do you think when they were dragged off the bus and they were all sort of sat around it, they were still close enough to the bus to be able to use the free Wi-Fi?
They email the photographs of their own terror alert. Do you know what's really irritating about this? For the entire... In my ear, constantly, people are going, wear the hat, wear the hat, wear the hat, wear the hat. Yeah, they give me a yellow hat because they think I look like the Megabus guy.
That means that man looks like a penis sausage.
They should call it penissausage.com. Oh, something else is already called.
You're just bringing this up to try and make everybody forget that you look like a penis sausage. That's exactly what's going on here. You just look like a penis sausage in a yellow hat.
Oh, no! I have lost ownership of the joke now.
Somebody's got another new Twitter avatar.
OK, Grant, at the end of that round, although I should get the points myself for the assault to my dignity. Ladies, at the end of that round, the points go to Chris Hugh and Milton! Now we play a round called 50 Shades of Mock. This game involves Milton, Andy and Josh, so if you could make your way over to the performance area, please. This round is our stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. So the first subject is money. Who wants to come into that? Andy Parsons.
So, Wonga.com, current interest rate, 4,214%. They've got some balls, haven't they? And people take them up on it. I don't know what happens. I don't know if they go, oh, look, 4,214%. That seems about right. And why is Wonga.com successful? It's because the banks aren't lending. Why are they not lending? That is what banks are supposed to do. Oh, I'm a prostitute. Do you shag? No. I just sell pet insurance and breakdown cover. At the moment, the whole world economy is being propped up by the Chinese. China at the moment being run by two men, the Chinese premier, a man by the name of Wen, and the Chinese president, a man by the name of Hu. I kid you not, China is currently being run by Wen and Hu. It is like an Abbott and Costello sketch, isn't it? Who's the Chinese premier? No. When's the Chinese premier? Who's the Chinese president? I don't know. No. Who's the Chinese president? Since when? No. Wen has never been the Chinese president.
OK, let's spin the wheel again. The next subject is technology. Josh.
I'll take that. People say technology is moving forwards, but I'm not sure about that. I'm increasingly finding myself at these cash points where they can't even be bothered to make the buttons line up with the screen. There is no stress in the world like that. So they're going, please God, let this be 20 quid. If this is 40 quid, I might as well just kill myself. Worse, if it's one of the cash points where you go up and the screen is angled so the sun is on it. You go for 20 quid, you leave with a new PIN number and a chequebook in the post. I don't want to cancel, I don't want to clear, I don't know what's the difference? You get your card back, trying to put it back in, people going, piss off, mate, it's not winner stays on. I'm already stressed as well when I'm at a cash point, because I've already had to stand there for 10 seconds, unable to put my card in, because it's still thanking the guy that's already pissed off. Who is hanging around for that? I've got my card, I've got my cash, hold on, guys. It's been an absolute bloody pleasure doing business with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Josh. Well done. And so that leaves us with Milton. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is employment.
I used to dream of having a job. Sometimes I'd go down to the bottle bank and stick my arms in through the holes and pretend to be working at a nuclear processing facility. I lost my job as a prison officer for organising a lock-in. I only had one job as an architect, but apparently a revolving mosque makes it difficult to pray towards Mecca. My first day working on a building site, I felt sure someone would ask me to go and get something that didn't actually exist, you know, like striped paint or something. Sure enough, someone asked me to go and get an air ambulance. Well, I played them at their own game. Took my time and said, oh no, I just couldn't seem to find one. You should have seen his face. It was blue. Years ago, of course, I used to supply filofaxes for the mafia. Yeah, I was involved in very organised crime.
Thank you very much. Well done. Points to Milton there. Everyone come back.
So I tell you how Ivan Lendl reacted to that joke.
Now we play a game called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's happening. So, teams, what is going on here?
Is it Dyson unveils most powerful vacuum cleaner yet?
Is it the centrefold of Engineering Porn Monthly?
Is it preparation continues for Eric Pickle's colonic irrigation?
Is it best contestant ever on Scrap Heap Challenge?
Is it that man saying, well, if this thing falls on me, at least I've got a hat on?
That is regrettably the only printer that my computer will recognise.
Goal line technology bigger than expected?
OK, can you give the correct answer?
Is it the fitting of Eamon Holmes's gastric band?
Is it something to do with science?
Is it the CERN Higgs boson thing?
Yes. Yes, I'm going to get that. It is the CERN Higgs boson. Yes, it is the CERN-Higgs boson thing, also known as the Large Hadron Collider. This is the news that physicists at CERN in Switzerland have declared that there is overwhelming evidence that they have discovered a new particle that bears all the hallmarks of the Higgs boson. The find is considered one of the most important scientific advances in a century. Now, before I go to you and get you to comment on this, I'd just like to bear in mind that in the audience tonight we have Professor Higgs, who has come all the way from where there she is. Just very, very good. Incredibly, unbelievably shy woman. For many years, she has, in public, only wanted to appear as an old man. Stop pointing the camera at that poor, randomly chosen woman. So that we get... There he is! There he is! That's her as we more normally know.
Oh, look at it. You've got some glasses down there. You could have a crack at that one.
I am not doing every face that we do in the show.
It was known as Professor Penis Sausage face.
My penis sausage is this big. Yes, they found the Higgs boson. Professor Higgs projected. I'm not. I'm certainly not going to do this, right? I cannot look like everything that we discover in the show.
It looks like... That is Jonathan King.
Isn't he an astonishing bloke, Professor? Did he also not teach Eliza Doolittle to speak properly in my head?
He's very busy. The funniest thing about him, of course, is that he lectures in Edinburgh University, and up until recently he's been the Scottish physicist, Professor Higgs. But now that it's been founded and he's successful, he's suddenly the British physicist, Professor Higgs. That's one for Andy Murray.
It was lovely, though. It was absolutely lovely, because he didn't expect it to happen in his lifetime.
No.
He travelled. He's 83. He proposed this idea over 40 years ago. He travelled to Switzerland to see the announcement. And it's just nice to have a happy story about an 83-year-old travelling to Switzerland.
If you complete that word at the back of his head, it just says Jedi.
And Johnny did when he found out?
I've no idea.
He cried, of course, he cried. Everyone cries now, it's all tears now. Boo-hoo. Things have gone well, things have gone badly. Wow. That's why there's no more hosepipe band. Boo-hoo.
Did he not think, I'm going to splash out on a megabus back to Edinburgh?
I think it's a real shame, this business. They've spent all this... This is a lot of time and money they've spent, and that is time and money that they could have spent, for instance, working out how to make slightly less noisy hand dryers, which I find incredibly annoying. Thank you, Dave. Well, let's start this revolution now.
I don't think I might love more in the show when we really catch the public mood.
I can't believe he got a standing ovation for getting to the final of Wimbledon. I came up with my brilliant thing about hand dryers. No one does a fucking thing.
Why is this going to be bad news for Stephen Hawking?
This is because he's lost a bet, a $100 bet. He said that they'd never find the Higgs boson particle. But you have to say, the person who's had a bet with, you'd have to be a bit of a bastard to take the money off him, wouldn't you?
You wouldn't bet Stephen Hawking $100. Well, surely, if you're going to bet him anything, you bet him a go on his chair.
We may have gone over the line, we'll just check Hawkeye.
Stephen Hawkeye would be a great thing.
Out.
It was out. It has been out for billions of years.
The strange thing about Stephen Hawking is that he's a British person who we sort of know as having an American accent, which must be an astonishing thing for his brain, because he must have a memory of his own voice, and yet this thing comes out, and which makes me feel terribly sorry for him, but at least it's not a Brummie accent, because then nobody would have believed him, would it? I've got a theory. Have you, Stephen? Have you? It's a good theory about time, is it? Off you go, then.
At the end of the round, the points go to Mars, Josh and Andy. Right, now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is things you won't hear at the Olympics.
Very impressive. Usain Bolt has done a lap of honour and won the 400 metres as well.
So Daly going for 3.5 somersaults with Pike. And you have to say, the Pike doesn't look too happy about it.
Good morning. No surprises here at the final of the archery.
Victoria Pendleton cycling incredibly fast at the moment, desperate to try and get away from a horny Boris Johnson.
She was hoping for bronze, but sadly for Sue Barker, she is bright orange.
I would like to apologise for my earlier mistake. We are, in fact, watching the javelin and not, as I said, dwarf darts.
And all of the sailing golds have gone to the Somali team in exchange for the safe return of Sir Steve Redgrave.
That is the 5th girl to jump off the top board and miss the huge pool below. Women divers.
This gymnast has a maximum degree of difficulty. His name is Churchik Kiddick Kaddup Flidley Flip Flip
That is the 10-minute free view of the beach volleyball. If you'd like to watch the full match, please enter your pin now.
And the crowd are on their feet. So much for getting the stadium finished on time.
Well, that really was a spectacular day of weightlifting, but before we go, we've got time to just look over some of the most spectacular anal prolapses we've seen today.
Lane 1, a family eating popcorn. Lane 2, 2 guys on a stag night. Lane 3, I'm in the wrong place, this is bowling.
And now in the weightlifting, it's the snatch. She's a big girl, but it's still compulsive.
Well, here at Weymouth, our gold medal prospect is out. In the last race, he touched a boy and he's been arrested by social services.
OK, next topic. Unlikely things to read in a children's book.
And so the tiger came to tea and then shagged another woman and went back to playing golf.
As soon as Professor Snape saw Hermione, he knew in a few years she would be really hot.
What's a Gruffalo? Said the Gruffalo. It's a buffalo on 40 a day.
These bacon sandwiches are delicious, said Pooh. Aren't they, Piglet? Piglet?
And so, the 101 Dalmatians fell asleep. Hang on, those aren't Dalmatians. Those are just ordinary white puppies riddled with bullets.
Hello, my name is the Very Hungry Caterpillar. I have an eating disorder.
Unfortunately, Bob the Builder couldn't fix it because Bobsky the Polish builder had undercut him and done a far better job.
This place is rubbish, said Edmund. Doesn't anybody have sex here? Oh, yes, said Aslan. What do you think the Griffins are for?
But despite his protests, Mr. Tickle was put on the register.
After years of depression and alcoholism, the little girl emigrated. And that is the end of Alice in Sunderland.
This is Pooh Corner. explained one of the other captives.
Have you heard about Badger? Said Ratty. He's been gassed to stop the spread of bovine TB.
As the train came slowly past, the railway children chucked stones at it and spray-painted Thomas is a wanker.
Tales of the unexpected. Once upon a...
And then, as he did every night, fantastic Mr. Fox knocked over a bin and shat on a doorstep.
Okay, at the end of that round, the points go to Chris, Hugh and Milton! And that's the end of the show. Commiserations to Andy Parsons, Josh Widdicombe, Miles Jupp, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. This week's winner is Andy Murray, ladies and gentlemen. Pleasure to have you here. Thanks for watching. I'm Darragh Green. Good night.
Mock the Week's back with a special Don't Miss It Thursday night at 10. Coming next on BBC Two, gritty drama in The Line of Duty.